Welcome into Body by Busch Gym. I've been working on this for the past 5-ish years. This was literally the only thing I ever had on my vision board, and it's finally became a reality. Obviously there's still some things that I want to continue to keep adding to the gym, but with where it's at right now, I've absolutely reached my goal with it. So I'm gonna give you guys a tour of everything I purchased, some tips, and also some recommendations on what I think the majority of people can benefit from, and also depending on your goals. So let's get into it. The first things I want to talk about at first are the things that I first bought. So I'm going to go in order of everything that I purchased. It all started when I lived in Nashville, when I lived in an apartment. That was 2017 or 18. I can't remember when I first got these first few pieces, but in my mind I knew someday I'm gonna have a home gym, but I was starting small because I was training clients in person and I wanted to have some very portable equipment. So what I purchased was a few speed ladders, 2 of these, foam roller of course, that's just a given, and then 4 slam balls. So we got different weights here, 15, 20, 25, and 30. I haven't used them very much over the past couple of years, but I got them for training clients in person, and I need to start to get group workouts in here. And then also 2 kettlebells, nothing crazy, 30 and 35 pounds. And that's basically how it all started in my apartment in Nashville. And the place that I got this initial stuff from was through a client that worked at a sporting goods store. She could get things at wholesale price, so she was kind enough to hook me up with that deal. Obviously, she's probably not supposed to, but I'm very thankful for it. All that small stuff was the only stuff that I did get in Nashville, and then I did move back up north to the Midwest in Minnesota now. I'm from North Dakota, which is better than Minnesota, in my opinion, but I live in Minnesota. Don't ask why. My next purchase was the squat rack. Once I knew I was gonna be in I was gonna live within the area, I decided I could get a squat rack, because while living in an apartment in Nashville, that didn't make any sense. And I got this through that same client. So she hooked it up once again. Squat rack, gorgeous. And then also came with the 500-pound weight set and barbell. And what else I got with that purchase was the battle ropes. So these things, freaking gnarly. I absolutely love them for finishing out the shoulders and, I don't know, letting out some stress. Full exertion. So yeah, I got that stuff in winter of 2018. After I got the squat rack, I naturally just knew, I was like, I'm gonna get a deadlift platform. Started looking around, and I eventually found out that it was pretty dang easy to make your own deadlift platform. So I made this, and it was actually a really fun project. All you need is plywood. This middle part is 3 layers of plywood. I did glue them together, and then I did a gray type of stain on the top, and then I printed out a stencil of my logo, and my sister painted it because she's a lot more steady-handed. And then once that dried, put a layer of polyurethane over the top, and it's held up very strong. So I made it almost immediately after I got the squat rack. And then of course I did have to screw it down too. I didn't just glue it. And then for the ends here, you could see it's 2 layers of plywood, and then the top layer is a horse stall mat. So you could get a horse stall mat at Tractor Supply or any of those types of stores. And I just cut it into the end parts are 2 feet by 4 feet, and the middle part here is 4 feet by 4 feet. And it works out pretty perfectly. As you can see, the weights are, the length is right spot on. Another tip too is to make sure you have washers before you do this, because the screw will just go straight through the rubber if you don't have any washers. And it still could have driven it all the way through, but obviously you just stop once you get to a certain point. So by the time 2019 rolled around, I had the squat rack, I had the deadlift platform, had the barbell, had the plates. I didn't have a bench yet. And this right here was the first actual piece of equipment I bought from a gym equipment store online. and it was through Rep Fitness. You'll notice that a ton of my stuff is from Rep as we go throughout the video, but this is a very solid bench. I just looked it up. I ordered this on January 1st, 2019. It was $149 at the time, and that was before they had free shipping on absolutely any order. The shipping was like 42 bucks, so this was just under $200. It's very solid, like for benching. It's not gonna wobble at all, and I absolutely love it. But sadly, it didn't have any incline. It's just a straight up, flat, solid bench, but I do highly recommend it. Moving on to summer of 2019, I was super into circuit training. I was doing a lot of like 10 sets of 10 on deadlifts, lots of pull-ups, and I'd just do like 10 rounds of random exercises that would get your heart rate up, as I'm breathing heavy right now because I just used the piece of equipment that I'm gonna talk about. August of 2019 was when I decided to make another addition, and that was the assault bike. Absolutely gnarly. It's an easy addition into any circuit workout, and it's also really good for finishing off your quads. For me anyway, my quads burn like heck when I do it. So I recommend it. I haven't really used it much recently because my style of training has changed quite a bit. So over time, I'll probably start implementing it again because I'm constantly changing things up. Then a couple months went by and all of a sudden it was Black Friday. And this is where the biggest chunk of change up to that point was invested into the gym. And that starts with the most unnecessary piece of equipment I probably have is the belt squat. So it was on sale and I got super excited about it, and it is an awesome machine, but I think it's highly unnecessary for a home gym. I don't use it that much, but what's nice about it is that compared to a regular squat where you're loaded up top, it loads at your waist. And then when you drop down, you don't have to work or focus on needing to be stabilized up top. Obviously, regular squat, if you're loaded up top, that's gonna work your core a lot more versus this, but this really helps you focus on the leg isolation. And this is a great machine to substitute in for like leg press. So I do not recommend getting it for a home gym, but hey, if you're a gym owner, it's a good machine. I think a lot of your gym members would like it. This was not the only thing that I got with the Black Friday sale. I also got bumper plates. I got 2 pairs of 45s, a pair of 25s, and a pair of 10s, since they were on some sort of sale by how much, depending on how much weight you bought. So those are the only things that I got during Black Friday sale, but it was still a pretty dang big purchase. Then since I moved into my house in May of 2020, I was spending the rest of that year pretty much just filling out my house, buying a bunch of stuff for my house, so I didn't buy any other gym equipment in 2020. And then 2021, January 14th, I just looked it up. I got my first set of dumbbells. So adjustable ones. These are from Core Home Fitness. I really do like them. They go up to 50 pounds. I can't remember the exact price. I'll put it on the screen here. One recommendation I would make, my chiropractor told me about adjustable dumbbells that he's getting. They're called, the brand is Nubbell, N-U-B-E-L-L. And they have adjustable dumbbells that have the knurling, the metal handle like a typical regular dumbbell does. And you can get pairs up to 80 pounds. Yes, they're gonna be a little bit more expensive, but compared to if you bought all those heavier weights individually, it saves you a ton of money. So that's one thing that I kind of wish I would have done. As you'll see, I do have individual dumbbells, but I highly recommend. 50-pound adjustable dumbbells. Super easy for if you're like on the road too. You could pack them up and no excuses because you're never off track, right? Take advantage of every opportunity that you can. Okay, let's move on. And for the rest of 2021, I officially committed to going all out and finishing the job, finishing the home gym. So after I got those dumbbells in January of 2021, the next piece was in the spring, and that was the rower. So Concept 2 rower, I was 100% in and committed on getting that exact brand, that piece. And I found one on Facebook Marketplace because brand new, I think they're 900 bucks. And I saw one for 700 on Facebook Marketplace, or maybe it was 800 and I talked him down to 700. Big negotiator over here. But it was barely used and I was like, shoot, it'll save me a couple $100. And it was honestly super hard to find equipment throughout all of 2021. So started off with the rower, and then throughout the summer and the fall, Rep Fitness came in clutch with finally providing free shipping with any order at all. Because I was constantly just refreshing their page trying to get the individual dumbbells. And throughout the summer, I got the 60-pound pair, 70-pound pair, 80-pound pair, and 90-pound pair. So they were all separate orders, and I just knew that I wanted them and I was going to get them. Whenever they were available, jump on the opportunity. So I have those dumbbells, highly recommend them. I just love how the handle is like straight across compared to like some of them are like angled and like the Rogue Fitness ones. They have like that angle. I don't know what you want to call that. But Rep Fitness dumbbells, by far, I recommend those over any other dumbbells for heavier ones anyway, but adjustable for up to 50. You're good to go. And of course, with the dumbbells, I needed to get the dumbbell rack, and I decided to go with the blue color because Busch light kind of matched the theme. Even though the blue color on the website, it looked a lot more like powder blue or that baby blue, like Busch light, like you could see like above the mountains, the sky color. That's what I anticipated it to be, but it ended up being a little bit darker. I'm completely fine with it, but yeah, I wish it was more, matched Busch more. Like if I wanted to repaint it, I guess I could, if I really wanted to. And since I already had a flat bench press, I decided I needed the incline. So I got this one from Rep. I can't remember the numbers exactly. I don't know if it's the AB 5000. I'll put up a screenshot of what I got. And once again, went with the blue color. I think I bought the bench and the dumbbell rack at the same time to match the blue. I just love how many more exercises you can do with an incline bench. And it also helps target the muscles in a completely different way. So that's why I absolutely needed the incline bench. And now I can honestly sell the flat bench because this one does go completely flat if I want it to. So I'll think about that now. Moving on to the part of the gym that required the most thinking was the flooring. So I did so much research on different websites. There's this very specific like rubber flooring website where you buy the rolls, and I did buy rolls, but I got them from Rogue because that actually happened to be some of the best pricing, and it also has the blue speckle on the floor to match the Busch light, Body by Busch. So I had to measure out like how many rolls I needed because didn't know how deep I wanted it. So I got 3 rolls and it worked out really good. I have a little bit left over. And I got the 3/8 inch thick. I could have got a 1/4 inch, but I figured that was a little too flimsy. And I also could have got 1/2 inch, but I was like, I don't need that. I just went with the middle range, saved a little bit of money, but also I think it's enough to protect because I'm the only one working out in here for the most part, the only one working out in here, and I'm not gonna be throwing my weights around. And then my absolute favorite part of the gym is the cable machine that I finally purchased. It was kind of a pain in the butt to put together, but in the fall of 2021, I went for it, and I got it from Rep, and it was just over 2,000 bucks, which for a cable machine is not bad. And I was kind of concerned that it wouldn't be enough weight, but there's plenty of weight on there, and I'm super happy with it. So it has the pull-up handles. I think I went with the higher quality one that they have. They have 2 different ones, and it was only like a $200 or $300 difference. So I'm like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna have this thing for a long time. And the cables, man, cable machine, absolute necessity, especially if you want to lift for hypertrophy and really shape them muscles. So that's easily one of my favorite pieces of equipment in here, if not the best. And then late 2022, I finished off the dumbbell set with the 100-pounders. And one complaint I would have with Rep Fitness is they need to be better at shipping their dumbbells if they send them individually, because they literally just put them in a cardboard box and the box was literally just shredded and torn open by the time it got to me. So that's the one complaint that I have about Rep. Other than that, I love that they do free shipping on absolutely anything now. Obviously they increase their prices because of that, but it allows you to buy like one thing at a time without needing or having that desire to need to get up to a certain price in order to earn that free shipping. So it's just super nice. Like if you want to buy like one pair of dumbbells at a time, you can, and you could still get the free shipping. Also in 2022, got a basic curl bar from Shields. So I just needed it. Was in Shields one day, looked at them, and I figured, hey, we're due, let's get it. Because I was doing curls and skull crushes with the straight bar, and it didn't feel natural, hurt the elbows a little bit, so that's why I got it. And Body by Busch Gym's most recent addition is the GHD machine. I'm gonna use it for Nordic hamstring curls, back extensions, and I've never really done GHD sit-ups, so I'm really curious about those. I haven't tried them yet, so that's my plan with it. I did just get this machine, so I'm really excited to use it, and we'll see how it goes. Of course, once again, I got this from Rep. And then one thing I forgot to mention, I think it was in 2021, once again, was the rack. So the rack for the kettlebells, the balls, and it also holds some of the plates. I got that on Amazon, actually, and it was like $100. Very good deal. I recommend it. It's just super convenient if you have those few extra small pieces that are kind of awkward things to store. So, oh yeah, I almost forgot the timer, as you saw in my pull-up video, my last video. Right here. So it's not a very big timer, but it's super convenient for circuits and counting down, doing EMOMs and all that stuff. So it's has a little beeper on it, timer, set, whatever. Got that on Amazon as well. Not very expensive, but it's nice. I recommend it. And of course, I couldn't call it Body by Busch Gym if I didn't have a fridge. So here we go. We got the beer fridge here, all sorts of different kind of booze. So just an assortment of stuff with an emphasis on Busch Light, of course. And there's one other rule: no Miller Lite is allowed in here. And fun fact, the previous owner of my house, he was a Miller Lite guy, because when I came to see the place in the shop here, he had a Miller Lite sign up. I about flipped out on him, but I was like, okay, as long as he takes it with him. He left the fridge and he took the sign with him, so we're on good terms there. If he texts me, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll have a beer with you, but leave your stuff at home. So that's the tour of the gym, all the equipment. I think I covered it all. If not, here's the closing out to the video. And to close out the video, I want to give you guys my top 3 tips for building out your home gym. If you've made it this far in the video, I'm just gonna assume that you have somewhat of an interest to at least build out your home gym. So the first tip is to take your time. Of course, like it took me 5 years to build out mine. And some of the main reasons why I do say take your time is if you buy everything all at once and you don't know how it's gonna fit into your space, it could be very overwhelming at first, and you might realize like, oh shoot, I don't have enough space for this specific item, when you could actually use that space for something more beneficial as well. So take your time. There's no rush with it. Obviously, you're going to be very excited when you do get into it, start buying stuff, and you can start to see it grow and develop, but do a few pieces at a time, one piece at a time, here and there, and over time, you're going to really love the outcome of your gym. Tip number 2 is to look for deals, especially Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, but do not sacrifice quality. Because if you're building out a home gym, I'd assume that you want the equipment to be pretty durable and solid and safe, because you don't want to buy something cheap that's just going to be flimsy, wobbling around, and potentially risk injury. Because if you're working out in a garage, you're by yourself most of the time, and if your equipment's not the safest, that's a pretty risky thing. It is fun to live on the edge, but it's also fun to stay alive. So that's something to think about. So just if you're buying equipment, focus and prioritize the brands that you have heard of. And some of the top ones that I recommend are Rogue, Rep, and also Titan. I don't have any Titan fitness equipment, but I've heard very good things about them. And also go around and look at your sporting goods stores, walk around Shields and look at the brands in there too. All those brands are very high quality. Look at that stuff, and then go on Facebook Marketplace, search certain items, and you could save a lot of money that way. So look for deals, but do not sacrifice that quality. And my third and final tip is to start with the small and basic stuff. For example, I got the belt squat machine, and it's not basic at all. It's not versatile, and it just takes up a lot of space. It's heavy, and it gets in the way. So I learned from that mistake, buying a highly unnecessary piece of equipment, and I want you guys to learn from that as well. I was super excited about it, but then once I got it and I got it set up, used it a couple times, it was like, okay, what's the point of this thing? It's just in the way, taking up space for things that I'm gonna use a lot more. So start with the super basic things that you know for a fact you'll use almost every single workout, such as dumbbells. That's probably the most versatile piece of equipment that you can get. So that would be the number one piece that I recommend you start with, and then you could build off that as you go. It all depends on what your specific goals are. Like the cable machine, for some people that is not necessary at all, but if you like bodybuilding style workouts where it's very basic type of movements compared to CrossFit, which is a lot more complex movements where they don't use cable machines at all. There's no need for a cable machine if you're into CrossFit. So really think about the style of training you're going to be wanting to do in the gym as well. So start with small stuff, and you can add as you go. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you learned a little bit of something, and feel free to shoot me any questions that you might have about the gym, fitness, nutrition, all that fun stuff. And just remember, you're never off track. Utilize that never off track mindset. There's always something you can do to support your health and fitness. Cheers.